Hi everyone, welcome to Awkward Author. This is a weekly vlog and podcast, and my name is Alyssa Grasso, and the sighing dog you hear in the background is my dog Jack. I don't know why he's sighing. He's sighing probably because I had to shut off the air to make this video, and it is pretty warm in here. We are having some very weird weather this week. It's been so hot and dry here previously. The grass was all brown and everything. And now we've just had rain, and more rain for the past several days. And yesterday, it was just a weird day. It would just randomly rain for 5 minutes and then stop. Sun would come out for a little bit, then start raining again. And it looks like today is going to be pretty much the same. So hot, sticky, rainy. That's the kind of weather we're having here right now, but honestly, I don't really mind. It's okay. It's better when the air is on in here because it does get a little stuffy and warm, so I'll try not to take too long to make this video. So I don't really have much to report in terms of writing progress, in terms of book marketing progress. I am behind on everything still, slowly, I guess, getting caught up. I don't know. I feel like it's one step forward, two steps back right now. That's pretty much the routine I seem to be in. My parents are visiting later on this week, so I'll be spending some time with them, and that's good, but I'm not going to be getting much work done, so I will just tell you that right now, so I don't know that I'm even going to have much progress to report next week. If you've been on the internet anytime in the last week, I guess, you probably saw all this fuss and clamor over an article that appeared in Forbes magazine. I don't even know if it appeared in the print edition or just on the website that had everybody up in arms. Now, a few things about it, this was a paid article, an advertorial type article. I don't know anything about the guy who wrote it, but I'm going to assume, he was obviously trying to write a clickbait type article that would get people all riled up. That was definitely his intention. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's probably not a regular public library user, and also probably has some stock in Amazon, because the whole gist of his article was that Amazon should replace public libraries in towns. That should become Amazon. I didn't even read the article because I'm it's just such a stupid thing. I'm not even gonna look at it. But that was basically the whole idea of it, was that taxpayers could save money if everyone had an Amazon Prime subscription and just used Amazon for stuff. I don't understand it, because Amazon Prime does not make books free. You can read the Kindle Unlimited things and stuff, but it doesn't make books free, so you'd still have to pay for books. You'd still have to pay for a lot of movies. You get some movies, for free with Prime, but not necessarily everything. You would still have to pay for, most of your entertainment at some point, and also an Amazon Prime subscription I think is $120 a year. Depends on where you live, but usually your public library tax burden is not very big. If you look at your town, your municipality, your county budget, whatever, however it works where you are, you're going to see that the public library does not get a lot of funding tax-wise. Compared to schools, compared to, police, things like that, public libraries way down there in what they get in terms of funding. And I know this because I worked in public libraries for a number of years. I also worked for a book distributor as a sales rep who sold to libraries. So, I know a little bit about library funding, and believe me, libraries do a lot with a very small amount of funding. If you were actually, kind of looking for, how to streamline government, how to make it more efficient and less wasteful, you might want to actually look at public libraries and how they do things and how they provide all the services that they provide for patrons, which is another thing. I just have to get on my soapbox. Anytime anyone says stupid things like public libraries are outdated or what have you, almost always it's someone that does not use public libraries, because obviously if you use public libraries, you're not going to think they're outdated. And so they have this notion that a library is a place where you go and you check out physical books. That is true. Libraries do have a lot of books. They do, one of their main services is providing physical books to people. But in this day and age, that's really only one aspect of public libraries and one of the services that they offer. First of all, there's all kinds of services for families. You have things like story times and, craft activities, book clubs, things like that. There's also some libraries are family place libraries, so they actually have like parenting education for new parents. And there's different, specialty programming, I guess you would say, for kids and for families too. Plus, there's all kinds of programming for adults and, teens and all ages at the library. A huge part of what the library does is programming and, providing this community service to people. Other, benefits, obviously, books are only one aspect. There's all kinds of material that can be borrowed from libraries, including, movies and music, software in many cases, different technology products. Sometimes my library, you can borrow a Roku device. There's all kinds of random things like games and cake pans and, all kinds of random things that you can borrow. The library I used to work for has a lot of resources for children, including like special needs children. So this includes like educational toys and games, but also things that are, designed to help with like they have weighted vests, like different things to help with sensory processing disorders, things like that. And if you were to like go and buy these products, they're very expensive. And so not all families are able to afford these things. They're not necessarily covered by health insurance if you're lucky enough to have health insurance. And so, having these resources available to the community is something that libraries do and libraries make possible, and it doesn't cost you, you pay the taxes, but it's such a small amount for what you get for that benefit that, it's hard to justify that. And I would like to point out that one of the things that public libraries are big on is information literacy, and that's interesting when you have an article like this that's, obviously published by someone who's paying to have the article published so that he can, make money or, drum up interest for whatever his business is, boost Amazon stock, whatever his end game is. And, information literacy is so important nowadays when you have just so much information out there on the internet, and you have to look at the sources of your information because it's not all equal. There's a big difference between an article that appears in, a major newspaper like, the Washington Post or even USA Today or something versus something that appears on some website that, says there's such and such news, but, who are they and, what is their goal? And so I know the chant nowadays is fake news, but there is a lot of fake stuff out there on the internet, and you have to be suspicious of everything. And anyway, information literacy is something that's hugely important, and libraries are, hugely behind information literacy and, supporting it and encouraging it. And anyway, so that's my soapbox rant about that. And then the other thing it's kind of related. It's related to publishing, definitely. There's been a big thing this week about piracy when it comes to authors or anyone, but especially authors has been, the big talk of the town this week. I think what happened was there was like some author who basically was contacted by a reader or tagged in a tweet or something, who had, stolen one of their books, digitally, and was writing to them about it. I mean, it's just so brazen and weird. And there is just like, the sun is out now, by the way. This is the crazy weather we're having. It was like raining 2 minutes ago. Anyway, I'm getting distracted here. No, there's just this weird, I don't know. The way people are, and I come from a different generation, I know, so I'm like, the old geezer right now, but it just, like, stealing books is wrong. Pirating, books is wrong. Illegally downloading, digital copies of books is wrong. I mean, it costs authors money, and if you want authors to be able to write, and if you like an author, it really makes sense to buy their books, because that's how they earn a living. Yeah, there are other, sources of income from authors, but that is the primary source of their income. And, if you're not buying their books, digital downloads don't count for, free pirated digital downloads don't count for anything. I mean, it's not going to help them get book deals. It's not going to help them with anything. And certainly, it's not going to pay their bills, which, they need. And so, I don't know, there's kind of this school of thought that, like, art should be free or something like that. I don't agree with that. I mean, and art, I don't know what that even means. I mean, books are entertainment. That's what they are. Movies are entertainment. It's a form of entertainment. And, I mean, entertainment shouldn't be free, I don't think. I mean, there is free entertainment. There are, lots of free things out there. Lots of authors that give away free copies of their books. Go to my website. You can get a free download of my book Popular, okay? I will give that to you for free, please. But if you want my other books, I would ask you to buy them. Or I have a few that are available to read for free on Kindle Unlimited. So if you're, again, we're back to Amazon Prime. But if you're a member, you can read those for free on there. Or, pay a few bucks to buy one. And it's like the people that complain about buying books usually aren't the people that can't afford it. The people that can't afford it most likely have public library cards, because, we know. I mean, I've been poor, and I've always had a public library card. Why? Because libraries are a great place to, borrow books for free. And so you can borrow books, you can borrow movies, you can borrow all kinds of things for free. And poor people like me, we know this. Okay, now not everyone has easy access to their public library, although if we're talking about digital books, most of us do have access to the library digitally, and most libraries do offer digital downloads too. So something to keep in mind. I mean, this is not, 50 years ago. It's not the library that you knew then with, your card catalog and your punch machine or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, when you read some of these articles, you would think that's what libraries are like these days, because they haven't set foot in one in 50 years. But no, the people that, I think, by and large, a lot of the people that are digitally downloading books for free are not poor. I mean, these are people who, like, go to Starbucks and buy coffee there, and, like, I don't know. It's just weird, or they have a gym membership, or they have a subscription to Netflix, or, whatever. Those are all, luxury things. And buying your own book is a luxury thing. But if you don't want to buy it and you can't afford to buy it, please use the library. And authors love libraries. I have not come in contact with any authors that don't love libraries. There are a lot of libraries out there. So if every library in the country bought your book, you'd be doing really well. And libraries are like a huge customer of books. And you know what? Libraries do not pirate books. That is something great about libraries. Okay, so they're buying them. They are a huge supporter of the publishing industry, and so any author out there would be glad to have a library buy their book, whether it's physical or digital. Anyway, that's just obviously, I do not believe in ebook piracy. I do not believe in any piracy. It's theft. It's theft of goods, is what it is. You can try to dress it up and say that it isn't, but it is. And, whatever. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. I've often thought, like, authors should, like, band together, and I don't even know how, like, these piracy sites work, but I would think there must be some way to, like, create some service, and then if you're an author, you can sign up for this service, and what it'll do, it'll just, like, flood the site with, digital copies of your book, But it won't be the whole book, just like Kindle book stuffers or stuff that, maybe like you'll have the first 3 chapters in there, and then the rest of it'll be like, nonsense or whatever. It won't, have anything to do with your book. And make it so difficult for people to find the actual like pirated copies of your book that basically they either have to buy it or they just don't read it, one or the other there. And even like, I don't even know how it works, maybe when someone like downloads a copy of the book, one of your pirated copies, one of your fake pirated copies, somehow you can collect their email address or something so that you can continue to keep in touch with them, because authors should get some benefit from these sites. And so anyway, I don't know if that's even a realistic thing or not, but I just think like that would be a more logical step. What you can do is you can send takedown notices, but it's like as soon as you send one, there's like 5 more that pop up, so it's just not really worth your time to deal with the takedown notices. I mean, again, if that was more of an automatic service, and these sites, that are doing this stuff, I mean, they're obviously just, lawless, entities. Like, there should be like, some crackdown on them, and they should be required to, if somebody's uploading something, they should have to like prove that they have the rights to upload it. And the only way you would have the rights to upload it is if you were like the copyright holder, and nobody that's uploading these books is the copyright holder. So, the fact that these sites are allowing this to happen is the big criminal thing. And of course the people that are actually, downloading them too. So I don't know, I guess I'm just in a ranting kind of mood today. Yeah, it almost seems like the people that are, pirating books are the same people who are saying, well, that, libraries are dead or, aren't relevant anymore or something like that. Because it's like, if you used the library, I don't think you would need to go through, piracy sites, because if you're an active user of your library, you can legally, download books for free. You can legally read books for free. There's no need to, to risk yourself to, viruses or whatever might be out there on these like piracy sites, but people do. And that's, a fact of writing in, this day and age, of producing anything in this day and age. As some of you might know from my other channel, I have a business selling, print-on-demand products, a lot of t-shirts, which I sell via Amazon. They have their Merch by Amazon program, and my boyfriend does this as well. And this has happened more to him than to me, but like, if you put a design up there and then it does well, then what happens is somebody comes along and, steals it and puts out an exact copy of it and sells it for cheaper, and, then your sales tank, which is how it goes. And he's had this happen to him a few times. He actually has some better selling shirts than me, so it's more likely, I guess, to happen to him. I have a lot more on there, but I don't sell as many as any individual one, so it's harder, I think, for these copiers to find, my good selling shirts, I guess. But yeah, it's frustrating. Like, if you like make this artwork and make this design, and then somebody comes along and steals it and slaps it on their own shirt and starts selling, and it has him frustrated to the point where like he's like, I'm not going to even do this anymore. I'm going to keep doing it because I make money at it, and I do enjoy it. But yeah, it is. And I have experience from doing the books. I mean, I get Google notices every week that, one of my books is on some piracy site. So it's just like, whatever. It's frustrating and it's annoying and I hate it, but at the same time, it's like, this is what I have to deal with. This is life. So, it's interesting. It's interesting. And I don't know, like, would we make that much more money if our books were not available illegally on these piracy sites, or would they just not sell? I don't know. There's no way to figure it out, I guess. But although that's not true. There was an author who did some research in it, and so, she found that, her sales were much better. Now, this was a best-selling author, but her sales were much better when they took this strategy to not allow her book to be available, like, digitally for, a short while, so that the Piracy stuff couldn't begin. Her initial sales basically were much stronger on that book than previous and latter books where they hadn't taken those steps. So yeah, it does affect your bottom line. People, if you are popular enough and people really want to read your book, they'll actually pay for it, which is such a novel concept, but novel, haha. But anyway, that's just me ranting, thinking, I don't know, musing about things. It's hot, guys. I am going to turn on my air here, so I am going to stop filming this and maybe get some work done. I don't know. I got to head out and do some work today, but yeah, I'll try to get some work done this week. We'll see how it goes, but thank you guys for tuning in, for listening, for watching, for whatever you do. I put out these Awkward Author vlogs / podcasts every week. You can subscribe here on YouTube. You can subscribe on iTunes. If you would like to know more about me, you can check out my website, which is alyssagrosso.com. That's ALISSAGROSSO.com. And I hope you guys all have a great week. And hopefully I'm not ranting when I make my video next week. So take care, stay cool, stay dry, and I'll see you again soon.